The value of carrier screening to me is that it allows us to make the most informed decision possible given our situation.
If somebody was considering carrier screening, I would say that even though there's nothing in your personal or your family history, there is still some chance for you to be a carrier of something that you don't know about.
What I would tell somebody if they were considering carrier screening is to definitely do it.
Carrier screening is the first step towards planning for a healthy pregnancy.
With every pregnancy, there's a small chance that your baby could have a genetic disorder. Carrier screening is a simple blood test that gives you and your doctor information about your body's genetics. It's one of the important and simple steps you can take towards having a healthy pregnancy. The answers to everything lie in our genes. Genes tell our bodies how to develop and function. And we all have 2 copies of each gene, one from our mom and the other from our dad. So a carrier is someone who has a change within their gene called a mutation that causes the gene to stop working properly.
Genetic disorders are caused when both copies of the same gene have a mutation.
Now, if you're a carrier, you're at an increased risk of having a baby with a genetic disorder. Consider a mom and a dad who both have a mutation in the same gene. There's a 25% chance that no mutation will be passed to their child. There's a 50% chance that one mutation will be passed and their child will be a carrier. Remember, carriers typically do not have any symptoms of the associated disorder. Finally, if mom and dad are both carriers, there's a 25% chance that they will have a baby with that particular disease.
It's important to know that mutations can run for generations and never show up until 2 carriers have an affected child. So even if no one in your family has ever had a disorder, you may still be a carrier.
I didn't know I had a family history of CF. I had talked to my mother about it, and she went down the line of family history, and there was no trace of it. My father as well.
The chance of being a carrier depends on your ethnic background and your family history.
If you have a family history of a particular disorder, it's recommended that you be tested for that disorder.
And also, some disorders are fairly common, so national medical societies recommend screening for all women of reproductive age. Simply put, every woman of reproductive age should consider carrier screening.
Once you're tested, if your results are negative, it means that no mutation was found for the disease tested. Remember, no test can detect all carriers, so there's always a small chance, called a residual risk, of being a carrier. In the case of a negative test, no additional testing would be recommended. However, if the results are positive, it means that a mutation was found and you are a carrier for the disease tested. The next step is for your partner to be tested.
What I felt like our results did for us is, I believe it was a turning point in the whole process for us.
Results can relieve a great deal of anxiety. Results can open avenues in terms of making future reproductive decisions in an informed way.
As we moved through the process, we became more and more reassured that we were making the best decision we could.
Anyone can be a carrier of a genetic disease, and most people don't know they're carriers until they have a child born with a genetic disease.
Carrier screening provides information to you and your doctor about your reproductive risk of having a child with a genetic disease.
Carrier screening is recommended for all women of reproductive age. You should talk to your doctor or a genetic counselor to get more information on carrier screening.
In our situation, it was literally the biggest outcome in this whole process.
The value of carrier screening is to just be prepared for what's to come.
Carrier screening can afford you the opportunity to identify problems or roadblocks before you've gotten to that part in your journey.
There are reproductive options for people who are carriers, but again, you have to be tested first so that you can become aware of them and plan responsibly for your pregnancy.